Recent reports from February 2026 indicate a significant potential shift in Russian financial policy as the Kremlin evaluates a return to the United States dollar settlement system. According to an internal memo reviewed by Bloomberg this week, Moscow is considering this reversal as part of a strategic economic proposal aimed at the Trump administration. The document outlines a plan where Russia would move back toward dollar-based trade in exchange for sanctions relief and the restoration of its access to the SWIFT global payment network. This development presents a striking contrast to the de-dollarization efforts Russia has championed over the last few years. Since 2022, Russia has successfully shifted nearly 95% of its bilateral trade with China and India into national currencies, while local currency settlements across the broader BRICS bloc reached approximately 67% in early 2026. A return to the dollar would suggest that even a primary architect of the movement to bypass the greenback recognizes the practical advantages and liquidity that only the dollar system currently provides. Despite the allure of the dollar, Russia is continuing to hedge its bets with domestic technology. The Bank of Russia is proceeding with a mass rollout of the digital ruble, which is scheduled for full implementation by September 1, 2026. This dual-track approach allows the Kremlin to pursue a transactional deal with Washington while simultaneously building a digital infrastructure that could function independently of Western-controlled financial channels if diplomatic efforts fail. Despite the allure of the dollar, Russia is continuing to hedge its bets with domestic technology. The Bank of Russia is proceeding with a mass rollout of the digital ruble, which is scheduled for full implementation by September 1, 2026. This dual-track approach allows the Kremlin to pursue a transactional deal with Washington while simultaneously building a digital infrastructure that could function independently of Western-controlled financial channels if diplomatic efforts fail. Western officials and market analysts remain cautious about the feasibility of such a pivot. Critics point out that Russia's economy is now deeply integrated with China's, making a sudden return to dollar dominance difficult and diplomatically sensitive. However, the initial market reaction has been notable, with gold prices dipping and the US dollar index showing strength as investors begin to price in the possibility of a major US-Russia economic thaw. The proposal is framed around 7 key areas of economic cooperation designed to align Russian and American interests following a potential settlement of the conflict in Ukraine. Central to this strategy is a fossil fuel-first approach that prioritizes joint investments in natural gas, offshore oil exploration, and the management of critical raw materials like nickel, palladium, and titanium. By offering these resources as a partnership opportunity, the Kremlin hopes to incentivize the United States to reintegrate Russia into the global financial fold, which would help stabilize the volatile Russian ruble and improve the country's balance of payments.